Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Sooner Surge for the Friday edition of Sooner Surge Double Trouble. Surgeaholics are here in the house dropping comments already about recruiting. I guess you could say, Jay, that it sounds like OU may land a commitment tomorrow, and Floyd Buchard, defensive lineman, and composite, 3-star? Composite, but really more a 4-star. And I think the biggest news is who he's choosing. If he chooses OU, who he's choosing them over.
Yeah, I think they're going to land him tomorrow too, which will be a big get. But down the stretch here, they got a few guys that really need to land, I think. So
I'm not going to comment on. I can't comment on this except that it is ridiculous.
It's hard for me to listen to that though. Do you ever listen to them during?
I don't have time to listen to them during the day, Jay.
Me either. So I'm saying it's hard. What else is going on today, Jeremy? You played a little
Friday, man.
Football tonight, huh?
I did play Hunter in some college football. I was Georgia. He was Colorado.
That's
he
right.
beat me. I think
it is Friday.
Was I talking? Was I talking, Jay?
I think you're lagging. So don't know what's going on. You're lagging pretty bad. Hey, Chester says Ford or Downs, either one better be backups. I think Ethan Downs is going to start. So I don't think there's any question about it. And I think Brent Venables pretty much said that. At SEC Media Days, he pretty much said it. So freaking lagger, the bomb says.
Am I back?
You're back.
Hunter beat me tonight. He was Colorado. I was Georgia. I think it was 67-58 final. I ran 7 straight kickoffs back.
That game, how can that game be legit if you're running 7 kickoffs back?
I don't know. I guess Georgia's that good, Jay.
Hey, the big news out of today was the preseason rankings in the SEC.
Yeah, what'd you think, Jay?
Am I lagging?
Eric says, good question, Jay.
Am I lagging a little bit here?
I can't tell. Jay, and he gone. If Downs is in front of Thomas, then we have problems. Now, Chester, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm actually pretty high on Ethan Downs. Are you, Jay? Mez says no lagging. Maybe it's you, Jay. Hunter can drop it in here if I'm lagging, but I think R. Mason Thomas has so much potential, and I'm really fine with, like Dalpo says, Downs starting. I'm going to be highly disappointed if 6 guys are not used at the edge. Ethan Downs, PJ Adebawore, R. Mason Thomas, Caden Woolard, and I guess Trace Ford, but I'd rather see Danny Okoye. So that's me. Ethan Downs is a pretty good run defender as well, setting the edge. I do agree with that. He's gotten a lot stronger. In my opinion, I think the one area he could get better at is getting upfield and putting pressure on the quarterback. But Ethan Downs is going to be a dude this year. Frankly, he was a pretty good dude last year. Exactly, Chad. He was a dude last year. I don't know where Jay is. Okay, I see his camera on, but I don't hear or see his face, so I'm not sure what's going on with Jay. Hunter, am I all good on my end? Good evening, Sooner History. Good evening. Welcome to the Sooner Surge. Thanks for being on. As everyone, thanks for being on. Hunter says I'm good. I know that. I know I'm good. I'm always better than Jay. It's not my fault that he's scared of things. Thoughts on Bursch getting the go over Anderson in preseason? Not a shock. Here's why, Colin. Everybody is really high on Deion Burks. So to me, that's part of it, is that's kind of he's been talked about a lot. I do think there's a lot of people not high enough on Nick Anderson. Now, Nick Anderson has gotten a lot of praise as far as what he did last year. I think deservedly so. Some people would argue that, but Deion Burks does seem to be the guy that is going to be the playmaker more. He's got more speed. His upper body, he's played a lot more. Let's just be honest. He's played a lot more. Micah says made an OU 8-0 on College Game 25. I've played like 3 times my whole life is it. So I can't talk about the game very much. I don't know. And I'm going to say this, Bobby. I don't know that you can say it's pretty simple. Like I would say Burks right now is ahead of Anderson. I don't know if I could just say it's just point blank. He's a way better receiver. Like I don't think I'm there yet. But based on what Nick Anderson did last year, I can't. And they are different positions. I agree with that, Mez. They're a little different positions. But Nick Anderson was phenomenal last year. Deion Burks, we have not seen play at OU yet. So I'm really high on Deion Burks. Are you there, Jay? Matt, Anderson needs more yards this year. Show me your. I do agree. You got to see a second year. You got to see him stack it up a second time. Absolutely. And I don't know what's going on with Jay. You just need to leave the video, dude. You got to join back or something, man. I don't know what's going on with your screen.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can now, Jay. People are wondering if you're decommitting. It's ridiculous. As Eric says, Jay, you might want to call it a night. Or, Jay, I got an idea. Why don't you call me? Hey, there you are. Why don't you call me during the Surgeaholics versus Germinator? Maybe you can call in and argue with me because you're not joining up right now. And, yeah, the bomb. I don't know what's going on with the internet. I know he's using his phone like we always do. That's what we do here at the Sooner Surge, but it's usually pretty good. Tonight, not. Sooner History says now we can hear you. Chester, I have never, ever doubted Nick Anderson. I've been high on Nick Anderson all of last year. I'm high on him this year. There's people on here that are questioning Nick Anderson. I'm not one of those people. He was phenomenal last year. He was great after the catch. He got open, probably as good as anyone on that team last year. Yeah, maybe he's got Microsoft Cloud today. And I do agree Anderson's going to be a boss. And what Dalpo says is true. There can be 2 or 3 dudes on that receiving core. It doesn't have to be one. I don't think they care who gets first team. It's about getting the playoff. Chester said, try restarting your phone, Jay. I'm not arguing with you. Maybe this should have been the topic tonight, but OSU was a big game, was it not? Texas was a big game, and frankly, stepped in the second half in that game. And Bobby, while I agree, you could argue that he's better at the moment. What have you seen from him? Are you going off the Purdue year? I mean, that's basically the spring game. He was phenomenal, but I'm just saying, at the moment, we'll see how Nick Anderson is. Nick Anderson was phenomenal last year. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, and you know what? It was the biggest catch. He also did the pass interference right before that. That's the first game he played pretty much all year. Okay, and it came in the second half. And Eric, if you're gonna sit here, Eric, and talk about he didn't do it in the big games and he's stat padding, then you can't say Dylan Gabriel had elite stats. He was stat padding. You can't say it. Cannot say it. So Nick Anderson was a physical receiver last year and was phenomenal when he played. I'm confused on what we're arguing about. I don't know what you're doing, Jason. Yes, can you hear me? Yeah, I can now. Don't say he didn't have I can't hear you, Jay. Eric, don't say he didn't play well in big games. OSU had a great game. I think that was a big game. It wasn't just in mop-up duty that Nick Anderson played, is what I'm trying to say.
Hey, have y'all talked about the preseason rankings yet?
No, we haven't, Jay. We've been sitting on here trying to figure out what's going on with you because you keep interrupting. I just
waiting.
said something.
I'm waiting.
Waiting for what?
Well, you said I keep interrupting, so I'm waiting on you to talk, and then I'll wait.
We haven't, Jay. We haven't talked about it. What are your thoughts on it, Jay?
Well, I mean, you look at it, OU's ranked 8, and they play 6 teams in front of them. I think 8's low, obviously. I mean, we all know that, but when you look at the schedule they got, 6 teams in front of them they got to play. I would have picked them about 5th or 6th preseason, not 8th. And I don't think they'll finish 5th or 6th. I'm just saying, I think that would have been a little more fair. I mean, who votes Vanderbilt two times? Come on.
I agree, Jay. But I will say this. I didn't know if this is true. I need to go back and check. I thought I saw something where 6 of the 8 conference games opponents for OU have a bye week before they play OU. And Rodney Anderson was phenomenal. Nick Anderson not going to be Rodney Anderson. I don't know why we're talking bad about Nick Anderson.
No, but do you think
he was great last year? Like what? We're going to sit here and talk bad about Nick Anderson?
He has a chance to be.
Yes, Topher commitment watch, D lineman. Tomorrow at 4:30 is the announcement. Sounds good for OU, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Hey, Germ, ready for some trivia?
Here.
I got trivia tonight.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Hey, let's go over the rules. 1 point for every trivia every night. Sponsored by the Fan Stop. Go to www.thefanstop.com. Check them out. Order your shirt of the month. You want to sign up for that. 10% off if you use code SURGE. And make sure you do that. Officially licensed merchandise, legit shirts.
Hey, Jay. I don't know what's going on with Jay, but it sounds like Topher said a commitment watch has been issued, Hunter. Am I assuming it's Nigeri Kennedy? Hey, and Eric, while I would be impressed more if it was against other teams, he did show out against other teams. He had great games against other teams. So the bomb says he hates Jay tonight. Hey, Jay, join back. Exit, get your phone off and join back, dude. Or Hunter, hop on here, man. Not Kennedy. Who is it then? Bobby, you've just been reading all that stuff that people are saying about Patrick Mahomes. I am not believing it. If she goes anywhere, it's Bama. It's going to be Bama, okay? She's going to go to Alabama. If you follow the likes, if you follow the Instagram likes, it's Alabama. I would be shocked if she goes to Texas Tech. I'm not buying the Mahomes stuff. Yeah, I don't get the Nick Anderson doubters. Like, did he drop a lot of balls? He dropped one ball that I remember. It would have been a touchdown. He made phenomenal catches. I remember in the bowl game, the catch he made in the corner of the end zone in the bowl game. Are you freaking kidding me? Did you watch that one? Like, again, he got open more than Farouk or any of the other receivers. The separation he created was better. The yards after the catch, his physicality. I could go on and on. He's got height. What else do you want me to say? Nick Anderson is elite. He's going to prove everyone wrong. Again, that's doubting him. Like, I don't. The fact of the matter is, Dylan Gabriel could only turn his head one way and see Drake Stoops over there and never turn him through it the other way. You really want to get me fired up? It's about to happen. About to happen. Chester Carter says, let's see. Mark says Kennedy to Texas before Tech. I'm waiting for Topher to drop who it is in here. Yeah, that's the rumor I've heard from people. I'm not buying it at all. That is not a true statement. 30% of his production is not. If you just want to say touchdowns, go look at yards. Did 30% of his yards come in one game? I don't think that's accurate. I do not think that's accurate.
What's up, Jerm?
What's up? Did 30% of Nick Anderson's yards come against TU? That is wrong.
I mean, I can check, but he had, 798 on the year, I believe, off the top of the dome. So, I mean, great year last year. Freshman All-American, 10 touchdowns. And it was not just against Tulsa. So,
and you can call him a tier 2 wide receiver. That's your opinion. I think he can prove himself to be a tier 1.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And again, Oklahoma had, I mean, you look at the wide receiver depth they have right now. I mean, Andrew Anthony's back. They added a top 3 receiver out of the portal in Deion Burks, who potentially could be a first-round pick, on top of, I mean, Jaden Gibson barely got to play last year. When he did, he had 14 catches. I want to say 4 or 5 touchdowns. Again, not looking at the stats. An impressive year last year for Gibson. Yeah. So, again, that wide receiver room is so deep that I don't know why we're
and Jay's got to get off here. Jay has got to either leave or something. I keep hearing something in the background, dude. I don't know where Jay's at. I will say this. Eric says he can prove himself, sure, but he hasn't yet. I don't know what else you want him to do last year.
I really don't know what else you want him to do. Seriously, I don't know what else you want him to do. Before the Andrew Anthony injury, he wasn't getting to play a whole lot. Again, that wide receiver room is very loaded. He had the 3 touchdowns, 120 yards against Tulsa. Other than that, I mean, the next, really, before, including Texas, he had 6 catches, but a touchdown per game in that 3-game stretch after it. Like, there's not that much more you could want for him to do. I mean, he's making the most of his limited opportunities. Yeah, he didn't have a great game.
Eric is going to point out any game he did bad in. That's all Eric's going to do.
Well, but I mean, other people stepped up in that game for Oklahoma. Jaden Gibson, 2 receptions, 82 yards, leading the pack of Drake Stoops. But I mean, that game, Oklahoma only had 224 yards passing. That was not that's not a game that you really want to look at, of Oklahoma putting up fantastic statistics in the passing department. But the big thing of that game is OU won. Dylan Gabriel got injured. Jackson Arnold comes in and they still win by 7. The Billy Bowman 100-yard pick six, all of that. So again,
for me to say someone's got to prove it, there's nothing that he, outside of the drop touchdown on the deep ball, I can think of several ESPN catches he made. One of them was in the bowl game. Like, I don't understand what you're asking for. If you want to say he's not a tier 1 receiver, if you want to say he's not on a level to be recognized as a Blitnikoff, fine. I get that. But you cannot say he hasn't proven himself. He proved himself last year enough to be a starter this year in a core of receivers. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and again, freshman All-American last year. So if that's not good, I really don't know what is. And Greg Gott saying solid wide receiver 2. I think he could even be a wide receiver 1. Is that at OU? Probably not, with how that room is right now. I mean, maybe next year he would be a junior next year. There's going to be no Andrew Anthony, no Jalil Farouk. Would have to imagine no Deion Burks. If Deion Burks is back, then that means probably something didn't go to plan. So I don't know about a day 1 pick, but I think he's probably a first 2-day.
And what pick. Iowa Sooner says, I can't think. Ryan Broyles I'm pretty sure had a good freshman year. And the thing he is lacking, Sooner fan, I agree, is top end speed. That is what he's lacking. But what I'm saying, the whole overarching thing I'm saying here is I never called him a Biletnikoff receiver. But the fact of the matter is he did prove himself. And listen, go look at the TCU stats. I can give you other games where UCF, where he had well over 100 yards. I don't know. And the Texas game, again, Angelo Anthony was a starter. That was the first game that Anderson even stepped in and ended up making the catch of the year. Wasn't a difficult catch, but the one that everyone wants to go to. It wasn't his best catch of the year. But again, I don't understand the criticism. If criticism would be someone like Jaden Gibson 2 years ago who dropped a lot of balls, that guy, I would say, you got to prove himself. He actually did prove himself last year, by the way.
Or Jalil Farouk with the fumbling issues. Again, I don't know why this is an argument that's come up multiple times over the last few months with Nick Anderson. And again, I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Jerm, before that catch that everyone remembers, drawing that pass interference. I mean, that was just as big of a play.
He's a great route runner, Hunter.
Yes, very good. He's not a speed guy as much as some people would like him to be, but I mean, with that body size, you don't really have to be at 6'4", 219. So again, I'm not sure.
I've got to call this out a little bit, Bobby, and you're welcome to call and argue with me if you want. But it's like, okay, so OU may land this guy. It sounds like seems to be what the consensus people are saying. If you look at Twitter, now we're saying if OU lands one that, well, this guy's already said that he may not. It's like when OU does land one, he may go elsewhere, but then when they don't, there's no way OU's getting him. That's why I said signing day is really the main thing that matters.
Hey, real quick, I believe Jay is back, so
let's see.
Hey, you got me now?
Yeah, what is going on?
I don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, I had to leave my house and drive to a parking lot near you, okay? So I'm in a parking lot, but I'm on. I think I got a better signal now. So I'm here, and I cannot believe the whole time I've been gone and on it, Nick Anderson's still being talked about. Let's move on. Jeez.
I agree, Jay.
Jeez, Nick Anderson, I mean, I would think Emmett Jones and Brent Venables and Seth Luttrell, if they don't think he's any good, they won't play him. I think he's pretty good. So,
and the fact of the matter is, I actually think Jalil Farouk has a lot more to prove than Nick Anderson.
Farouk has a lot to prove this year, Jeremy, coming off last year. That's for sure. 100%.
Will he get a chance to prove it? I think he might.
I don't know with his injury. I don't know with his injury, though.
Hey, Jay, Topher got in here and said a big commitment watch has been issued, but it wasn't Kennedy and it wasn't football. So I'm not sure.
It wasn't football?
That's what he said. But Topher has not responded after I asked who it was. Jay, Bobby says that D. Lyman tomorrow will probably commit, but he's not really sold on him staying at OU.
Yeah. Hey, let's move on.
Trivia, Jay.
I was in the middle of trivia when I couldn't get on. Okay, so here we go. I already did. You heard all what the rules, the points you get for it. So I'm just going to go straight to the question. I just want to know, last year in the SEC, how many 3,000-yard passers were there in the SEC last year? First one that gets it gets the point. 3,000-yard passers in the SEC last year. How many were there?
Bomb says 2.
No, not 2. 5. Sooner fan. Bingo.
Who were they, Jay? Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. Yep. Go on.
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck was number 1. Yep.
Brady Cook.
Brady Cook. Yes.
Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Let me get this 5th one. Did Milroe get 3,000?
No.
Was it the Tennessee guy, Milton?
No.
Who am I missing, man? Who am I missing? I've got 4. I'm trying to think who the other one would be. Who am I missing, guys? Come on, Surgeaholics. Not South Carolina. It wasn't Rattler.
It was Rattler.
What?
Yes, Rattler was he was the last one, I think, out of the 5.
Jeez.
Yep, that's
I
it.
did not know he got to 3,000, Jay.
Yep, good job, Sooner fan. Get the point for the evening.
Hey, Jay.
Yep.
The commitment tomorrow, and then you got Fasusi on the 21st. I think everyone's much more anticipating the 21st.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you talk about one of the top offensive linemen in the country, everyone's ready for that one. But that's a whole nother month away, man. And I think it's going to be a lot of talk till then, and we'll see. I mean, it's a little different than last year. You know, last year I felt like Stone's recruitment and him committing kind of drug on, even though you knew the date when it was. And it was almost like, as an OU fan, you were like, hold on, baby, hold on. Cannot lose David Stone. This one's a little bit different because I think it's more of a toss-up, obviously, than Stone. But it's the same situation, I think, in the fact that Fasusi would be a headliner of this class. He would be one of the headliners, and a guy I think obviously would be a massive commitment for Oklahoma.
And Bobby, I get that, what you're saying there about saying he's not going to shut down his recruitment. I would hope none of those guys shut it down, but I will say this. That's not good news because with Brent Venables' commitment policy, that's kind of going against what Brent Venables says.
Yeah, and John asked about other offensive line. Babelo is the other one that you still have a shot on. That he'd be the other one. So
hey, Dalpois, you're telling Eric to call. You can as well. You're a Sooner Surge Unlimited member.
Let me just say this: whoever does call in, Surgeaholic should smoke you tonight, Jeremy, because I think I know which side of the argument you're taking on this. The question is going to be, and I think I know where you're going with it, and I think Surgeaholic's going to be coming for you.
Okay, bring it. Yeah, everyone knows what side I'm on, and I think there's probably more on that side, actually, on my side, on the side I'm going to be arguing. John McNay, yeah, it's those two guys, John. It's those two guys that Jay previously mentioned. And Mark, yeah, the commitment policy, I don't know if it's written out anywhere, but it's been told, it's been talked about. So I'm not sure how that vibes and meshes with the guy who says I'm not done.
Hey, do you want to hear?
There is a call in. Anyone who's a Sooner Surge Unlimited member in the Discord, we have sent the link to our live shows every night so people can call in. Eric's done it once, but every night at about the 30-minute mark, which is coming up, we have a topic of discussion.
Hey, you want to hear a hot take?
The Germinator versus Surgeaholics. It's about to happen in 2.5 minutes. I'm ready.
Hey, do you want to hear a hot take? I talked to Hunter today. Hunter was going through picking his schedule of games in the SEC. He's got Georgia going undefeated. I'll get to my hot take in a minute, but I think there's a better chance Georgia has 2 losses than rather them go undefeated. I think there's a better chance of them having 2 losses than them going undefeated. And here's what else I'll say. My hot take, Clemson beats Georgia.
Okay.
And Hunter's saying, and the ones that saying Georgia's going undefeated, you realize if that's the case, which they could, but that means they're winning at Ole Miss, at Alabama, and at Texas.
Yeah, they're not going undefeated this year, I don't think, Jay. Their schedule's harder this year than last year.
It is a tough schedule, man. It's a tough schedule, really. I mean, you look at those 3 teams I just mentioned. That's a tough schedule, and then you got Clemson. I just think I got this weird feeling that Clemson is kind of being slept on. I don't know what it is. I just think maybe they're not done yet. I don't know.
And I do think Brock Bowers is going to be heavily missed. Now, I get they get the best players. I get that. Carson Beck is really, really good. The trenches they own. However, they're going to slip up. They're just going to slip up. No, I agree with Skyler that no one's going undefeated in the Big 12. Sorry, in the SEC or the Big 12 for that matter.
Yeah, I would agree. Dalpo says it's not crazy. It's possible. Unlikely, maybe, but possible. Yeah. Sooner fans got this feeling inside his bones. He's
That's
ready.
a song, Jay. That's a song.
I know. I know what it is.
All right.
Georgia's had a cake schedule for a few years now. And let me remind you what their record is against Alabama in the last 9 games. Want to take a guess, Jeremy?
No.
1-8. 1-8.
Yeah, 1-9 would be 10.
Yeah, 1-8 in the last 9 games versus Alabama. So going to Alabama winning, I know Nick Saban's not there. Still going to be difficult.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jay.
So.
And Texas, Skyler, Texas is replacing a lot of skill players. They are. They got some dudes, though. They got some dudes. And they lost Sweat, too, which is going to be a big loss.
Yeah.
We ready?
Yep. I think it's that time, isn't it?
Let's do it. Let's try this.
All right, let's try this tonight. You
scared.
ready?
Hey, don't be scared, Surgeaholics. Just give your take. Get on here for 20 seconds and give your take. I'll rip it.
It's gonna take 20 seconds, more than 20 seconds to rip you. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree, Jay.
So here we go, Jerm. Let's get ready. Hey, let me go over the rules of this real quick. The rules are this. Germinator, there he is right there. In the Discord, you have the link to call in. You have the link to call in. All you have to do, click the link, call in, go against Jeremy, the Germinator, with the following question. Here we go. I'll wait till the music stops. Wow, that's pretty sweet, Hunter, that little music there you added. Hey, here's the question of the night, is this. Who has a better chance of making it to New York for the Heisman? Dylan Gabriel or Jackson Arnold? It's that simple. Call in, and there he is right there, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Germinator is here. That was a little quick wardrobe change there, Jeremy.
You got to do what you got to do, Jay. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's right. So Jeremy's ready, but are you ready? Surgeaholics and Sooner Surge Unlimited members, here's your chance. Get on there and smoke Jeremy for the victory tonight for the Surgeaholics. We'll be tallying scores every night, Germinator or Surgeaholics, and who wins this. So who has the best chance to make it to New York to the Heisman this year? Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Arnold. Jeremy, why don't you just go ahead and say your opinion on this question as we wait for
I would like to respond to someone first, Jay. I would like to respond to someone first. Everyone knows who I'm taking in this, Jay. It's not
rocket science.
It's not a secret. And maybe everyone agrees with me. If everyone agrees with me, it's all peace in the Surgeaholic world. That would be outstanding, Jay.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Someone did say that schedule would favor Arnold if he wins 10 games. And that could be one of my points there, Michael. Absolutely. Let's get that Germinator shirt. I'm all up for it. And Jay, yeah. I will stay on here till midnight if I need to. I want someone to give me a reason why they think DG's got a better chance. Dalpo says it's a draw, Jay. Dalpo says it's a draw.
Yeah, we don't do draws.
We don't do draws.
Yeah, that's right. It's a little hot for that leather jacket, Jeremy. Why don't you just tell us your opinions and why you think it, though, Jeremy?
Okay.
Or are you going to wait? You're going to wait, aren't you?
This is why Jackson Arnold, in my opinion, has a better chance to get to New York. The first thing, DG, in my opinion, cannot outdo what he did last year. He has reached the peak, okay? He's reached his peak season was last year, in my opinion. I mean, is he going to get more yards rushing? Doubtful. I don't think he puts up better numbers than he did last year. He didn't make it to New York last year when a lot of people wanted him to. Part of the reason he didn't, because he was there. He was in position to make it. They lose 2 games. He doesn't make it. Now, people might argue, well, Oregon's schedule is better. Okay, that's fine. But like I said, his numbers will not be that special like they were last year. The second thing, Jay, he won't make wow plays. He made like 2 all year last year. and they were on the same drive, by the way, the same drive was the drive he made the two best plays where you went, oh my goodness, this guy can play. Jackson Arnold will make those in his first game. It's just a fact. The ball coming out of his hand, people who are watching the game, people who are announcing the game are going to get googly-eyed watching Jackson Arnold, and his stock is going to continue to rise, and they're going to play elite competition. Meanwhile, DG will be playing good competition, but no one's going to say, wow, look at the zip on that ball, or wow, look at the escapability. They're just not going to, Jay. That's what I got. I don't know how anyone on here can disagree with that. Honestly.
There's plenty that can disagree with it, Jeremy. So I mean that.
Well, I'm waiting to hear.
I don't know if anybody wants to call in and go at you, Jeremy.
Okay, that's fine. There's a lot of people commenting here about and Dalpos. That's another thing. He has struggled to stay healthy. And look, I definitely want him to be healthy. I want him to be healthy. I want him to have a great year. I'm just not sure he's going to be able to did what he did last year. And it's not even a knock on Dillon Gabriel, guys. It's not a knock at all. That is a zero knock. Look at his numbers last year. They were phenomenal. Has anyone ever had that good of numbers and you were left as a fan to say, I think he's a game manager? No. When someone has that good of numbers, you say, wow, this guy is unbelievable. You can't really say that with DG. He just ran the offense, and he ran it really well. And Hunter has said the link is in the Discord. And listen, maybe you don't want to join on tonight, but hey, bring it. I just don't see, if you watch the two play, that you're going to say that this guy makes more wow plays. Now,
hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Well, you tell me a Heisman that won the Heisman or made it to New York that didn't have wow plays. Do you know of any?
That's the exact point I was getting. Yeah, I got one for you.
Who?
Chris Winke's one of them. He beat Josh Heupel.
Game manager.
I'll give you another one. The guy from Miami. What was his name?
Gino Torretta.
Gino Torretta. There's another one.
But recent. Give me a recency.
I mean, Daniels was phenomenal. I'm just thinking of guys who have been in New York, Jay. Caleb Williams, phenomenal wow plays. RG3 had some wow plays in college, Sooner fan. Absolutely did. Trying to think of other court. Now, hey, if J.J. McCarthy, Jay, would J.J. McCarthy win a Heisman?
No, I don't think he had wow plays, but he made some huge plays like with his feet.
Jay, was he going to make it to New York? If
No.
J.J. McCarthy was there this year, would you have him in the Heisman convo?
I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I wouldn't at all. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And Mess says he wasn't impressed with DG in 2 years at OU outside of his nice guy interviews. Here's what I was impressed with DG. His leadership, as far as getting the team from what they had, and with Caleb Williams left, I think he was great. And I think from 2 years ago to last year, he made big strides. He did. I think he had a really good year last year. I think the main thing between him and Jackson Arnold is, I think when you talk about some of the throws Jackson Arnold can make, yeah, I don't think Dillon Gabriel can make those type throws. That's the only thing. But in the same instance, you could say that Dillon Gabriel will probably make, I think maybe the word would be safer throws, which isn't always good, but sometimes it is good. So I don't know.
Jay, do you think that Dillon Gabriel will have better numbers? Let me ask you that. Do you think he has better numbers
than last year?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, because I don't either.
I think one thing that I think people are not talking about with Dillon Gabriel enough, and I know he's got weapons, like video game weapons over there, Jeremy. I know it. But one thing I don't think people are talking about enough is there is one thing missing from Dillon Gabriel this year.
What's that?
Jeff Lebby.
That's a big one too, Jay. I think people might be underestimating that.
When when you play so long under the same coordinator, the same verbiage, everything, I think it has to affect you a little bit going out there.
Yeah,
That's just my
we
opinion.
got someone on here. I think we got someone on here.
It's Eric. What's up, Eric?
I want to hear Eric's take on this.
Eric, we got you. Hello, Eric, you there?
Bobby said he has playmakers and Will Stein is a better OC than Levy. That is debatable.
What's up, Eric? Can you hear us yet?
Yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, we can hear you. Let him have it, Eric.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, so I want to use another quarterback to compare and contrast. So you can understand why DG would be the better choice. And I want to go with Bo Nix. So I pulled up some numbers for you, and I'll say, I even wrote it down. I had to write it down. So Bo Nix's last year at Auburn, this was year 3 for him. He was 61%. He threw for 2,293 yards. He had 11 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. That was his 3rd year in the system. His last year in Oregon, he was 77%. He threw for 4,508 yards, 45 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. So if you ask yourself what changed for Bo Nix, he exited the SEC, joined the Pac-12, and he joined Oregon. DG is going to have better weapons right now, believe it or not. Oregon is loaded. They're not a finesse team. They're a physical spread you out team, but he's going to have better weapons. He's experienced, and I see them going no worse than 10-2, probably 11-1. I think they split between Michigan and Ohio State. I have Oklahoma going 8-4. Sorry, you're not going to get invited to the Heisman if you go 8-4. That's it. So.
And Eric, I agree with a lot of what you said with Bo Nix. Here's some things. I know people have already put this in the chat. Bo Nix is a 5-star. He didn't pan out in the SEC. I agree. Oregon's in the Big Ten now. It's not the Pac-12. And the other thing is, you said 45 TDs, 3 interceptions. Bo Nix was phenomenal. Did he win the Heisman? Even with those numbers, I don't think
he was invited. The question was, will he was invited?
New York. I agree. Bo Nix made New York, but that schedule that they're going to play this year, I think, is a little tougher than last year. I think it is. And Bo Nix was.
Are you sure?
Could Bo Nix make more throws than DG can make? I think the answer is yes.
Bo Nix made no spectacular throws. You give him a lot of credit for beating UW a couple times, but if you really watch those games, it was Dan Lanning that beat Oregon. He kept gambling on 4th and 1.
They didn't beat UW.
I know, but Oregon should have beat UW. But what would happen is on 4th and 1 and 4th and 2,
Lanning happened
on their side of the field. He kept going for it. He kept pulling the trigger, go, 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 and they didn't convert. But if he would have did the conventional play, kick the field goal, or punt the ball and play defense, they would have easily won that first game, easily. But I don't know what his thought process was during that game. But he was being ultra aggressive, and it backfired. But what I'm saying is the same things that when I called in earlier have not changed. Offensive continuity for Oklahoma has not changed. You don't know what that offensive line is going to be like, but I can tell you this: there's not a lot of times when you get a brand new offensive coordinator, mix it with a brand new quarterback and a brand new offensive line, and have amazing success. You tell me the last time that's happened.
And yes, and the only difference between OU and Oregon then is they have a new coordinator and new quarterback working together. Their offensive line would be the only difference, we're saying. Is that correct? Because they have a new quarterback in DG. They got a new coordinator. DG's never done anything like that offense. He's been 6 years in the same offense. I mean, and Dylan Gabriel's got some tough games. They do have some tough games. It's not going to be like last year's schedule.
I think they'll beat Ohio State this year. It's in Eugene. I think they could beat Michigan. I just say they're going to split because I don't think Oregon's going to go undefeated. But the third toughest game is Wisconsin. They will beat Wisconsin.
Hey, one thing that I think y'all haven't touched on, though, is where was Bo Nix drafted this year? DG's not getting drafted.
DG didn't even get a sniff.
I mean,
That's
I
fine.
think Bo Nix,
Jason White won the Heisman Trophy, and where did he go? It's not all about
You're
that.
right. Yeah,
what I'm saying
right
is
about
right
that.
now,
That is correct, Eric. I agree with you on
right
that.
now. Let me give you some more numbers right now too. For your guy Jackson Arnold. So far, I'm pulling the Arkansas State game. This is Oklahoma,
Wait,
so
first off,
we
what
have
do you
different
mean, my
standards.
guy? Hey, what do you mean, my
Jackson
guy? Eric?
Arnold's
He should
your
be
guy.
He should be your guy.
For tonight's debate, he's your guy.
Okay,
Right?
I got that.
Okay. All right. So pulling the Arkansas State game out of this equation, Jackson Arnold was 33 for 58 for 56%. He threw for 449 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Does that sound okay for you?
And
Does that sound all right? Then I look at him in the spring game, and he's just as bad, 50%. I know he had some deep bombs to a wide open wide receiver, but I mean anyone can make those passes. He doesn't. I'm getting more red. You know what? I would rather take Dylan Gabriel underthrowing people, but having accuracy and ball security. Dylan Gabriel had 30 touchdowns last year to 6 interceptions, and add in his rushing yards, he was 4,200. I'm sorry, over 4,000 yards with 42 touchdowns and only 6. Yep, over 4,000 yards, 42 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions. So I'll take a little short arm here and there, as long as you have ball security and you're accurate. Right now, your guy's wildly inaccurate. He overthrows people.
Well, yeah, he did overthrow. He started one game. Like, go look at Peyton Manning's freshman stats. What we're talking?
Yep.
We're not even talking a freshman season here, Eric. We're talking, and you said let's take out the 9 for 9. I get that. That was Arkansas State. Okay,
sure.
I get that. But Arizona, the first game he's ever started, he made a couple of bad reads early on. Fact. He made that bad slant throw in the second half in the fourth quarter. That was bad. I'm just saying, we're talking a freshman in one game.
So you're making my point now.
I'm not talking
lack
about
of experience. Lack of experience.
Potential for this year.
So would you trust experience or lack of experience going into the toughest conference with a brand new coordinator and a brand new offensive line and brand new wide receivers? Tell me where in the world that sounds like a recipe for success. Or you could be Dylan Gabriel with 6 years of experience, a better offensive line, a better defense. Thank you. What? Okay. So Dylan Gabriel's set up to win.
But he can't. He's been here 6 years and he couldn't do it. Couldn't even get OU to the Big 12 championship.
Go to Texas. Texas was a playoff team, and he beat them.
But they
Texas was a. And that's all Dylan Gabriel's fault, right?
No, it's not. It is absolutely not all DG's fault. My point is, if a guy has been here 6 years and they just haven't won even made it to the championship game in the Big 12, I'm ready for the gunslinger of Jackson Arnold to see what he's got. You can't do any worse.
Now you've just moved the goalposts. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about moving on to another quarterback to see what we got. We're talking about who will be in the Heisman ceremony out of these two candidates.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking
Gabriel's
about.
Had 6 chances and never done it.
Could you see Oregon going 8-4 this year?
9-3 is probably their floor, Eric.
Okay. Can you see Oklahoma going 8-4? Is there a chance, a scenario?
9-3 or 10-2.
I know you have, but you can't see. I know you have, but you don't see them possibly going 8-4. You're just one game off. We're just one game off.
Well, same with
so they
Oregon.
Can easily go.
I'm just one game off with Oregon.
I know, but they're not going. They're not losing 3 games.
Eric,
they're not losing 3 games.
But my whole point in this is, DG has been in college football forever and never sniffed. Last year, I guess he did sniff it midseason, and then I just don't know how. Now, the difference is, Eric, and I'll give you this, Eric. People are talking Dylan Gabriel, and he's going to have this is where I will concede a little, is that people are going to talk Dylan Gabriel preseason when they really haven't in the past. So he's already going to be a little higher. And I also think
you got to be
thing, which I do not want to happen, but there is some longevity issues.
Yeah, but you got to be careful with what you're saying, because you were just about to say Dylan Gabriel's never sniffed anything in 6 years. But the same could be said for Bo Nix. The same could be said for Bo Nix. He put it together last season, 45 touchdowns to 3 interceptions.
And
so
I think DG
what I'm saying is, Yeah. Okay.
I
Top
think
5
DG put
offense.
it together.
Top
I
5
think
offense,
that
and he
his
was a
strong point.
Heisman candidate for a good portion of the year too. After that Texas game, everyone had Dylan Gabriel on their Heisman ballot. Everyone. It wasn't
Yeah,
until
they
he
did.
choked up against Kansas. So what I'm saying is he's got a better team. This Oregon team is better than Oklahoma right now. Sorry to say it. They just are. And they have a better schedule, a more favorable schedule. So all of the ingredients are there for them, Dylan Gabriel, to succeed, go no worse than, in my opinion, 10-2, and be in the Heisman ceremony. He's going to be dinking and dunking to a lot of elite athletes. Go look at their wide receiver core.
It's phenomenal.
They got
So's
speed
OU's.
everywhere. Exactly. I would. Okay. That's
What's
fine.
Evan?
That's
Hey,
fine.
what's Evan
Hey,
Stewart done? Should he
hey,
prove himself
time-
like Nick Anderson?
Hey,
What
we're not going to get on.
What are Evan
Hey,
Stewart's numbers at A&M, guys?
we're not going to get on Nick Anderson again tonight.
No,
We're
I'm
not going to bring it.
asking.
Hey, I don't know, Jeremy. I have to look it up. But hey,
I do
I want to say that.
appreciate Eric
I want to
calling
say
in.
this. I want to say this, Eric.
That was a good call, Eric.
Thanks for calling in. Amazing, great points. Had facts too.
Great facts.
Appreciate it. Great job. Sooner Surgeaholics. Put in the chat who won this argument tonight. Put it in your opinion. Who won this tonight? Really appreciate Eric jumping on here, going at Germ. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you.
That was great,
Yeah.
Eric.
So yeah, and drop it in there. Who do you think won the first edition of Surgeaholics versus the Germinator? Eric, man, had some amazing facts. I will say that. And you know what? We'll find out here soon as the season gets going who's going to maybe have a chance to make it to the Heisman. The one thing about the Heisman, it's not just an award for best player. You got to have a really good team too. And that's one thing I would have to agree with Eric on the schedule there. Oregon's schedule really opportunistic for them to have a really good year, I think. So, and yeah, make sure you put it in the chat. And guys, appreciate you doing that for the first time. Eric, you brought some great points. Anything you have to say, Jeremy?
No, I appreciate Eric. That was fun. Guys, every night, bring it. And a lot of people are saying Eric, a lot of people saying Germinator. But the main thing is we all win because that was a blast, actually. I love it. I don't care if people agree with me. And I know a lot of you guys don't care if people agree with you. That's what makes sports so fun. And we'll keep doing this. Jay will drop a topic tomorrow. Selwyn says, great call, Eric. Love the debate. Appreciate it. Guys, if you get on the Discord, you'll see the topic. And I do appreciate that Eric planned some facts. That was great. Put a poll up. Hunter, put a poll up before we get off here tonight. Okay? And Jay, there are some things to consider. And Topher's dropping the eyeball emoji, Jay. I'm curious who Topher's talking about for this commitment.
Hey, all I know is if it's something we've not talked about, I think that it would be great for OU because it'd be a surprise probably. Maybe, Brent Venables did say, Jeremy, on SEC Media Days, we're going to, I forget the exact wordage he used, but something about closing the 2025 class. He thought it was going to be, so we'll see.
Yeah. Selwyn still blames Levy. And that's fine. I can get on the Levy blame train if we need to as well. Gray God. Eric's getting his name on there 2 more times tonight. Also, the trivia winner tonight, Jay, was who was the trivia winner tonight?
Sooner fan.
Sooner fan. And then Eric's going to get his name on the wheel 2 more times. Eric is improving his chances for getting those tickets. He'll have to make the long flight out here, but appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great Saturday.